everyone, Angelina, Sparkling Diva, and another reading. I can't help it, I want to use my Dark Goddess Oracle deck and get to know it a bit better. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have you choose from these 6 cards. And the idea is that you choose the one that resonates with you, that you feel most drawn to. Jesus, I'm wobbling. I'm really bad at holding my camera like that. You choose one of these 6 that you feel most drawn to, and then you get another card that comes with that, and that card says what you actually really need right now at this moment. So you go for the one that you feel drawn to, and then you get another goddess card that tells you what you really need right now. So first we have, I'll try to show you, it might be wobbly, okay, I can't help that. The first one is Gaia, creation. The second one is Hine Nui Te Po, I'm not certain how it's pronounced, trust. 3 is Cerridwen, inspiration. Then we move to the other ones. We have Pythia, which is the Oracle of Delphi, is number 4, is knowledge. We have Sekhmet, empowerment. And her face, you can see it. I'll get it a bit closer. You can see it a little bit. It's a lion's face, of course, a lioness. So that's number 5, and number 6 is Arnemetia, integrity. So make your choice. Then I'm going to put it in a stand so I'm not wobbling anymore, and then we're going to draw the card. Right, we're going to start with the numbers 1, the people that chose Gaia, creation. I do have to use the book, okay, because I'm not familiar with this deck yet, and also because this is about the darker aspects of each goddess, and that's the power of this deck. Right, so you chose Gaia, creation, number 1, and your card, what you actually really need to know is its Papalotl, purification, and it is a beautiful card. It's an Aztec goddess, and it speaks of that you have to clear your your house or your vibration, your emotions or whatever, from anything that's holding you back, from anything that is not serving you anymore. You really have to do some spring cleaning, so to speak. That's really important. That's what this card is about. And also dark secrets maybe, and that's what it says as well. Money troubles, ill health, dark secrets, they must come out into the light of day before they do you any more harm. None of these things can be sorted out by pretending to the outside world that they simply don't exist. You cannot continue on this path and hope it will just go away. You have to face your troubles, otherwise they will continue to have power over you. So that's what you have to do. You have to really face the music, so to speak, and be open up, honest, and face things that you try to keep hidden, and try to pretend maybe that they didn't exist, they weren't there. Like, if I don't see them, if I don't talk about them, then it doesn't exist, and I'm not there. But in the background, they are still controlling you, and controlling how things go and develop in your life, and that you don't want that, because you probably want that creation, and you cannot create good things if there's still a lot of clutter and negative stuff in your vibration or in your life going on. You can't create something pure and light, and when there's still a lot of dark, so to speak, going on in your life. So you and that even affects what you want to create if you are not facing it, if you are trying to hide it, ignore it. These things don't go away. So it is really time for you to do that, to do some purification. Just what I just said. Just stop pretending they don't exist and face them, confront them, and face up to your troubles, so that they don't have power over you. That's the point. And they don't have power over you anymore. And then you can move on with a clear heart. And then you can come to that creation, which I think is what you actually want. Otherwise you wouldn't be drawn to this card. Okay, so that is your message for right now. I do hope that resonates. For me, it's a bit odd to do such short readings. Then we had numbers 2 that went for Hine Nui Te Po, I think. I'm not certain about the pronunciation. It was about trust. And the card, the message that you really need to get right now, here right now, is Uzume Persuasion. Persuasion, well, that actually speaks of being, she was a very good persuader, this card says that you have that ability as well to, well, basically then you can talk people into doing things and, yeah, almost like forcing your view, so to speak, right? It doesn't have to be that strong, but onto other people. And I feel, especially in combination with the trust, since this is the dark aspect, right, of the goddesses, and trust with this card speaks of that your trust was broken and you got hurt. And I think in combination with this card, with the Uzume card, that because of that you now likely are have become more seeking control in situations, in relationships with people, because then you feel that you are stronger and that you are safe, because when you control, you feel more, you feel more secure, because you are in control. You know what's going to happen, when it's going to happen, how it's going to happen, because you have control, and you use that persuasion. You're quite good at that as well then, when this card comes up. But that's not really the right way to go about it, because if you want to be able to get trust again with someone, meaning that you can trust them and they will trust you, you must also allow them to have their own opinions and their own views, and to not try to force your views and opinions upon them. You know, it's okay if someone has a different view to yours. Sometimes we have these things where we have our own truth regarding the same subject, and that's okay. You know, if we all felt the same way about something, then life will become quite boring, and it doesn't that doesn't take away from you and your inner knowing and who you are if someone doesn't agree with you or has a different opinion or a different view. And I think that's a bit what's going on if you chose this, if you chose the numbers 2, that you are in a way suffering from self-confidence, low self-confidence and low self-esteem issues, because you got hurt, and because of that you are now, well, gotten a bit harder to, you know, this kind of like shields up in a way, shields up because by taking control, wanting to control things, and that's not going to help you. So you have to try, if that resonates with you, then you must stop doing that and try to relax and allow other people to also have their views. Also listen to other people, just listen to it, and know that that doesn't take away from who you are, right? Sometimes when we are insecure, we do feel that way. When someone else has another opinion or another view, then we start to wobble, we feel imbalance, right? Like, oh my god, then I must be wrong. And no, well, no one likes to feel wrong, but you don't have to feel wrong. There's nothing wrong with you if someone has a different opinion. Happens all the time. It's perfectly okay. And you will likely still have to work on whatever happened that hurt you, that damaged your trust, so you can feel safe again, to trust again without having to take control. Right? I hope that resonates. Please let me know, okay? Then I'm moving on to numbers 3, the people that went for the Cerridwen card, Inspiration. And you get this message, Ereshkigal. I'll have to look that up. I haven't had that card just yet. And I only got this deck in yesterday, so I haven't read everything about all these goddesses, and I'm not familiar with this goddess either. She is from Sumerian origin, archetypal blackmailer. Oh, hey. She passes judgment on the deceased and famously threatened the king of the gods himself to bring all the dead back to life and release them unto the world, unless her lover was allowed to stay and rule with her, and she got her way. Coercion, right. Well, I would like to read a little bit more about what's behind it, because the messages in here are always very short, and it's just not one message, it's several messages, and one of these are the one you need, right, for a reading. Don't give in to emotional blackmail. Wow, that is really, I'm gonna pause it a bit. Wow, well, this is really, really a powerful message. That's why I wanted to take some time to just sit with it and feel it. It is, basically, this card, Reshkigal, says that that you have had really some troublesome times, and basically says that your whole life that you have played second fiddle to the desire of other people, and yeah, a victim of coercion, and that you have carried guilt and shame and fear that was placed upon you by other people for their own benefit, and that has become your survival skill, basically. To do that, to play second fiddle, to settle. Basically, then you always settle for less, right? You always are flexible then, likely. Always going with what other people want and what they need. And I mean, that takes an awful lot of energy, because then you also always have to adapt to other people. Never having a chance to be yourself, to get your needs met, and maybe you even forgotten what the hell your own needs are, because you've become so used to, playing second fiddle, and to live up to other people's, to make them happy, basically. So this is a message to you that you have to now make a stand and be strong. And that you shouldn't be coerced anymore into anything that doesn't sit well with you. And so don't give in to emotional blackmail. And also try to get healthy boundaries. Make a list of priorities, things you want and like, and priorities, your own priorities, things for you. And start putting these first. And that will take some time. If this resonates with you, and this has been going on your entire life, then it will take time to change this around. But you can, and you have to. And just go easy on yourself, step by step. And also says that you have to be very careful with whom you share your secrets, and with whom you, whom you trust, whom you can confide in. And slowly start working on that. Really slowly start working on that. And the funny thing is that Cerridwen, the card that you chose, is again, inspiration is a good thing, right? But like I've said before, this is the dark aspects of the goddesses. And this card also speaks of that. Well, I'll just read it out. Sometimes the world seems so bleak that only hopelessness stares you in the face. Stirring that cauldron of emotional darkness inspires nobody. And it is a dangerous path of the mind you have been treading lately. And again, it speaks of other people's negative comments and projections, and that you have come to believe these lies and only see the negative aspects of life. So that actually does tie in to this other card. You have gotten a very negative view of yourself. Your perception has become warped and is in urgent need of a magical transformation, and that's what she does with her potion, right? That's in the cauldron of Cerridwen. Cerridwen means keeper of the cauldron. Her name is derived from Ceru, this Celtic for cauldron. She's the keeper of the cauldron, and she brews a magical potion in there. And yeah, so you have to allow, basically her better energy to breathe inspiration through your mind, and let these cobwebs, these negative things be blown away. So that really ties into that. I think because of this, you have gotten a very negative view of yourself, an outlook of life, maybe even, and and because you've always placed yourself below others. Because of that, these are very closely tied together, these two cards, and you have to really change that around. Really try, if this resonates with you, really try to begin making more healthy boundaries. Start thinking about what is okay for you and what is not. How do you want to be treated? What do you actually like? What is it that makes you happy in life? Start writing these things down. And maybe you can only come up with one thing to begin with. But it doesn't matter. You can keep adding to it. Keep working on it. This is really, this is, almost makes me cry. Almost makes me cry. And if this is not like what this card said, that has been going on for your entire life, then the message is simply, that you still have to be careful whom you trust and whom you confide in, and that possibly someone is asking too many personal questions, or is asking too much of you, and that there could be a power struggle going on, and that you have to walk away from that. So if this doesn't resonate with you, what I just told you, that was going on your entire life, then that is the message for you right now. Okay? Right. I hope that resonates. Please let me know, because this feels really serious, this really, really deep. Yeah, I think for most of you, it actually is the message that something like this has been going on for years on end, or your entire life. So yeah, this is your message, what you have to do. So thank you for watching, and I'm moving on to the numbers 4, I think. I lost count now. Numbers 3, 4, 5. I lost, yes, 4. Jesus. The people who chose Pythia, the Oracle of Delphi, knowledge. Notice that snake here. There's an awful lot of snakes in this deck. And the message you get is Aradia, defense. Aradia. And Aradia, I like that. I've got a statue of Aradia. She's the queen of witches. And if I got it right, she's the daughter of Diana and of Diana and Apollo. And she is indeed known as the queen or goddess of witches. On my statue it says queen of witches. Okay. And this speaks of past hurts and that are affecting your reactions, and that are making you quite defensive, and that you shouldn't really do that. You mustn't mistake kindness for being a weakness. It isn't. You have to really stand in strong and tall in your own convictions, and defend your cause. Be proud of who you are. I feel that mostly. Be proud of who you are, and know who you are. Know what you stand for, and you can then defend that, so to speak, but not in a bad way, not in a conflict way, like making a huge drama or row or whatever out of it. Just in a a place from inner strength. You can then stand up for yourself and what you believe in, what you stand for. Because that is really, really important. Not allow other people just to walk all over you and criticize you, judge you, and whatever. And that's likely what happened, because that's what this card is about. That either that happened or you feel that happens a lot. That you are always under attack. And because of that, your reaction has become to defend yourself, to become defensive. And that has become an automatic thing almost, right? That if you feel attacked and you just bang, you react. And there's no need for that at all. There's no need for that at all. All you need is to just know who you are, what you stand for. Even if others don't understand you, then you are just surrounded by the wrong people for you, so to speak. Doesn't mean to say they're bad people, they're just not the right people for you, who nourish you. And there's also, with Pythia, the knowledge card is also about that you have an awful lot of wisdom, you have an awful lot of knowledge, and by years of studying and learning, and you just have an awful lot of knowledge, like the Oracle of Delphi, right? But you must be careful whom you listen to, whether your teachers and sources where you get your information from, etc., whether these are pure. And also learning to trust your own knowing and your own inner wisdom, as opposed to going by other people's opinions and views of a situation or whatever. Trust yourself. And also, especially when people don't believe you, or when people don't understand you or what you stand for, that you don't get defensive. Just know who you are. Trust that inner wisdom. You have that inner wisdom. You know what you're talking about. And if people don't, if you're trying to convey that to people who don't get it, who don't understand you, then they are just a wrong audience. Then you have to find your tribe, a different tribe. And that doesn't mean that these people are bad, but they're just not the right audience for that wisdom, for that message. Okay, so that's important. Don't get all defensive. Don't get all, just defensive and have that automatic reaction that if you feel attacked and not listened to, not heard, not understood or whatever, that you then just like, bah! That it's okay. Just find other people who do understand you. You just stick by your own inner knowing, your own wisdom and what you stand for. And you can do that. You can stand by that without being all, without lashing out or without being so defensive. You can do that with love, from inner strength. Right, I need a very brief break before we move on to 5 and 6 and a sip of coffee. If you liked it, if it resonated, please let me know. I always like to know, alright? Thank you for watching. Right, numbers 4. You chose Arnemisha, integrity. And the message you get is Guabansex, a Germanic. Is that what you say, Germanic then? Oh no, hang about. Haitian. Oh right, okay. Haitian or origin. She's all about hurricanes and wind and using these elements of the wind, storms, also earthquakes, and just disasters, natural disasters like that is basically also to cleanse in a way. Also to have this wrath if there is disrespect, and this basically is about that there is a storm brewing, and that there is a lot of chaos around you, and that everything that is familiar to you and known to you and that you hold dear, and belief systems and etc., it will all change because of that, or it's all chaotic and I'm feeling, okay? I'm not just I'm sitting here and I'm feeling. I actually do feel that. A lot of chaos, not knowing where to go, not knowing which way to turn, what to do, because everything seems to be upside down, changing Also work maybe and relationships is almost like everything. And the message actually is that you have to just stop. You mustn't be afraid. You mustn't be afraid. Message is almost like a heads up, and a warning also to not make make trouble just for the sake of trouble, so to speak. Because she can cause catastrophes of biblical proportion. She's a very powerful goddess or deity. Very, very powerful. And she demands appropriate respect or face her wrath. That's basically what this card is about. And knowing what is coming will enable you to prepare and understand why you face such dire straits. It's all for the best. You will be supported if you stand strong and observe the activity that whirls in extreme ferocity around you. Then once the storm has blown over, you will find it easy to float into the brand new world your soul has been craving. I'm sorry, I really do feel that everything or something that really is important to you is complete chaos now, in complete chaos, upside down. You don't know what to do with it, where to go, where to turn, and you just really are, you're completely lost. And because of that, you might, in actual fact, indeed become antagonistic, because she's an antagonist, become antagonistic, become stroppy, go against the grain. And also because of Arnemetia, the integrity card, this speaks of sabotaging yourself, being very critical of yourself. So, and feeling that you're under a lot of pressure. I'll have to see if there's more about that. Feeling as if you have to fight to survive, and that the world is competitive, and very critical of yourself. There's these niggling voices in the back of your mind, and it gives you a lot of frustration, and that just eats at you. And that's something you mustn't do either. You have to replace such thoughts, negative thoughts or critical thoughts, with positive ones. You have to start doing that, and use your integrity to make decisions. And speak of yourself in a loving way, in a positive way, in a loving way. You are your own worst critic, and I think that has to do with this as well, with that storm. You are sabotaging yourself, and it's as if because of that, I'm not entirely sure how or what, but because of that, it's as if something is falling apart. Something is falling apart. You have to get into this calmer vibration, a more positive, calm vibration. Get out of that storm. But in order to get here, you first have to get through that storm. So know that that is okay. That storm will pass. You just have to be more positive. Stop criticizing yourself. Try to take time out as well. If you do indeed feel pressurized, that you're under pressure and that everything is competitive, stop that. Especially that. I feel many of you feel that you always have to compete, that everything is a battle almost. Maybe you're very much like easily drawn into conflict energy and discussions, and looking for conflict. You mustn't do that. You really mustn't do that. To get through this, you must let that go, let that slide. Think more positive about yourself, and stop being so, I'm looking for the right word, irritable, irate, irritable, something along those lines. I can't find the right word from the top of my head. And then this storm will pass. But if you stay so stroppy, obstinate, and competitive and defensive, and then it will last longer, because then you get the wrath of that Guabansex. Then it will last longer, and then it will be more difficult. And this will just, as soon as you become calmer and stop the fight, this will just, in one go, it will just calm down. And then you can get to this calm energy, this calm waters with a guiding light. Then you will find your way. Then wisdom comes in as well. There's the owl. The owl is coming in. Yeah, I hope that makes sense. I hope that makes sense to you. Please let me know. I'd love to know. And if you can place that, because sometimes I find it really difficult. I feel these energies, but then I find it really difficult to translate that into something comprehensible, so to speak. So please, if you chose it, let me know if that made sense to you. And then I'm going to move on to the last ones, the ones that chose Sekhmet. Okay, the last one, number 6, who chose Sekhmet. Her face is like that, okay? It's not because of the light of the camera. You can see through that light a little bit the face of a lioness. The lioness goddess she is. It's a beautiful card. She's holding an ankh. Right, the message you get is Persephone, compliance. And I must say, I'm really impressed with this deck. It's so Persephone speaks of basically having fallen victim of your own, good doing, so to speak, helping other people, always wanting to help other people, and at some point that began to work against you. You were also always kind, always helpful, always there for other people, and at some point something turned around, reversed, and you actually, through the exploits of others, your kind compliance has reversed, and you have now become a victim of your own acquiescence. And you have suffered as well, emotional trauma and things, and now, in a way, that has led to self-pity, feeling sorry for yourself, and you've lost yourself into helping other people. And that can happen, and you don't want that to happen, of course, but that does happen quite easily if you get sucked into all that drama and stuff. And it also speaks of that attachment to the past, an emotional something, a painful thing from the past is emotionally ruling you, and it likely makes you helpful and want to be there for other people all the time. But you have to be there for yourself as well first, right? You mustn't, so you don't lose yourself. You really don't want that. And it's really, that's what it says as well, that it's really time to change your story. That your story isn't just a story of drama and pain and sob stories and all that stuff. You have to really change your story into the positive, and so you become more strong, and you are not ruled by whatever happened to you, and then you can still help other people, because that's what Sekhmet stands for too. Empowered, only she does it more from a place of empowerment. And then you can use your past as well, what happened in the past, to grow stronger and to become stronger, and then you can help other people from that strong, empowered place. You can speak your truth lovingly. And Sekhmet can also see both sides of a situation, and when you're in this position, you can't. So I feel that you were like this more, but then something happened, and then you sort of lost it, and you got sucked into your own painful story, painful history. And you now have to leave that behind. It's time for you to leave that behind. You have to close that chapter of what happened in the past, and you can learn from it and grow stronger from it. That's fine, but don't regurgitate that story all the time. That's not helpful to you. That's not helpful to you. That's how you've lost yourself in some way or other. Yeah, it can also even be that because of that, it's not going to go for all of you. Okay, this is what I'm not going to say now. But for some of you, it might. Um, People who just drown themselves in drama and sob stories use that oftentimes to get attention. But at some point, people will grow sick and tired of that, and then you lose people. It's like, oh my God, there she is again, there he is again. No, no, not more of that. You know, I've heard it about 1,000 times now. Right? But some people use that. Maybe because I feel they don't have anything better to offer, that they are actually not so empowered and fear that they don't have anything interesting to say, and then they just basically robe themselves in their drama and their pain and their sob stories, and then they get attention and oh my God, that happened to you and blah blah blah, right? But that's not the right way to build relationships, and it is not going to make you happy either, because that keeps you in that vibration of whatever went down. So it really, 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 if that resonates, any of this resonates with you, it's time for you to stop doing that, to step into your power again, close the chapter to the past, and then you can still help other people if you want to, but then you can do it from a place of power and from a place of love as well. And you can still be really strong. You actually are stronger then when you do that. From a place of love and being empowered, right? Like Sekhmet. So I hope that makes sense. And yeah, please leave me some feedback, likes or comments, so I know whether that resonated or not. And well, I'm going to thank you everyone for watching, and I'll be back soon with something else yet again. Bye bye.